Let's get started to do the toolbox side. Let's start a new drawing. We have been coming up to the new drawing icon. Let's go over to the home house icon and start a new document from the task pane. We get the same dialog box. We're going to create a part and we're going to choose OK. Just like the orientation of the handle and the end cap, the side also falls on that same plane. So I'm going to design intent to keep it the same. I'll start there and create a sketch. Now we've been doing this. We choose our plane, then sketch. Let's try it a different way. As you can see, we're getting used to this, but the part that we're going to do is a sheet metal part. So in SolidWorks, we can define the feature that we want to do prior to sketching, which makes it kind of interesting because it shows our planes and then it goes into our sketch automatically. And when we exit that sketch, it exits itself to that feature. Let's start a new drawing by choosing our sheet metal tab. As you can see, it shows all my planes, the top plane, the front plane, and the right plane. I can easily just choose the right plane and it orientates to it. It gets me into a sketch automatically, and I can start my sketch if I want. Looking at it, I'll just start sketching. I'm going to start everything based off the center of where the hole at the top of my side is. Then I'm going to come back and create a line. With that line, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just start sketching a line going horizontal, vertical, missed that vertical on that one, angle, and if I pull back on it and go, if I pull back on it and go away from it, it creates an arc for me. And then back again, it creates a sketch. And the last, I will close it. Now this is the basic shape of what I was looking for. I hit check now to close it out. And I'm done with the basic information that I need at this point. What we're going to do next is add some constraints. Well, this one I didn't make vertical, but if we look at certain little color symbols here, it's identifying what constraints it has. It says this line in this arc is tangent, where this one and this one, as I move it around, is not tangent in any way. If I move this one, it will stay tangent to that line and arc. This one right here is vertical, so if I grab it, I can only keep it vertical. This only shows horizontal, so if I grab it, it only can go horizontal. I can't change that. And this one has no constraints, so that means I can still move it all over the place. While this stays tangent, this can go all over. So what I want to do is make these vertical and equal to each other. I want this to be equal to this one, and I want this arc and this line to be tangent just like this one. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, I'll take this line here and select it. And if I come over here to my line properties of it, the existing relationship is nothing. I can choose a vertical relationship and it will lock it in vertical. I will apply that. Okay. Now I want this, holding down this. Now you notice as I select, it only selects one at a time, but if I hold down control, it gets the other one. I want that to be tangent, and there it is, tangent. Okay, now I don't have to get out of the command here. I can actually touch this entity and hold down control and hit this entity, and oops, I had the arc connected, which I don't want. So let's go over here and select art, right button, mouse click, and delete art. 3 and line 5, and I want to make those equal in size. No matter how I look at it, they'll be equal. Okay, now I want to take this line and this line, which is line 2 and 6, and make those equal as well. So as I add a dimension to one, it only takes that one. Well, looking at this, it doesn't look too balanced, so I'm going to take this point and this point, okay, and make them merge. It looks kind of funky, but if I grab this and move it, oh, not that one out, move this one in and pull this one up, you can see that it's still, no matter how I keep it, it is the diameter. If I take this and stretch it out, if I drop this down, it's looking more like it. So what we're doing is holding constraints. No matter how we use it, we will have that information. I'll hit check. Now, looking at this, it is not black. It is all blue. What we try to establish here is something that's totally constrained, and black shows that, so we need to add dimensions to it. Now, I have taught you to use this button here, Smart Dimension. I taught you to right button mouse click and use it here, but now we're just going to hold the right button mouse click and go upwards. Let's take a look at that again. As I hold the right button mouse click, we have some other information up here that will allow us to quick snap to that command. So let's go straight up, dimension. I'll add a dimension here and place it where I would like to see it. That diameter of that is 1 inch. Okay, we'll take this one out here. That radius of that one is a 2-inch radius. Now look at that. Why is it so big? Because it's a 1-inch radius. You must read the information on the screen. This is our diameter symbol, and this is our radius symbol. So, very good. So let's go over here and add some more dimensions. It looks like if I hit the F key, it'll fit it. If I scroll my mouse away from it and move it away, I'll take this one and add a dimension. Looking at the drawing, it's 5.875, and I'll enter that. I will take this one, and this one should be 3.0. And the last but not least is one angle here, and I will put in 135, and it turns it all black. Do you notice I don't have to double my dimensions because this line and this line will always be equal. So whatever less distance come out, this one and this one will always be equal, and this one will be itself. Now, I'm looking at what I have here, and I'm not too happy with what I see. I do not like my dimensions above my lines. I like it in the middle as well as here. So if I was to change that, just to learn how do we do that? We go back up here to Options, and this is just showing you more information. Documents, Drafting Standards, Dimensions. We make sure leading zeros are removed again. We expand the dimensions and we go to linear dimensions, and I can choose it in between like that. Now the reason I'm showing you this is so that in the future you will know to find this information and how to set it up the way you would like. My primary precision will be 3 places to the right of decimal, and when I hit OK, you can see it changed everything to my primary dimensions to those, and my diameters are stayed at 1 inch. 2 decimals to the right and 2 decimals to the left. It is black, it is constrained, but as I look at it, it also has some more information. Now, I'm going to stay with the 2D and add some what we call fillets. If I look at this, the first fillet is at the top. It's 0.5. I'll put my information in the fillet parameters. I will choose this line and this line, and at least one has been at the midpoint. That's okay. Choose it. This one and this one. It says at least one segment is being filleted, has a midpoint, or equal length in relationships. Well, when I fillet them both the same, it will make them still the same length. I'll hit OK, and it all comes in now. The neat thing is this one dimension here will drive both this one and this one. Let's do another fillet at the bottom, and we're going to change that value to 0.125. We'll select it here, and it'll change the value, this one and this one, and it will update both of them because they're equal, and it's still black. Now we're ready to use the sheet metal. Now, if you remember, we chose sheet metal as our feature, and then we automatically chose our plane, and then we started sketching. I'm done with the Phillips, so I'll shut those down. I am just going to exit right here, my sketch, and watch what happens. It puts me right into the base flange of sheet metal. the thickness will be 0.625. I'll hit check. And there's our part. Now, there's a couple other things we're supposed to do. Do you remember? One was to edit the material. We can select material, right button mouse click, edit material, expand the aluminum alloys, 5052H32, and apply that. Close it. Now that's the material we'll be working with. The next thing we need to do is save. So I'm going to give this a name. We're going to call it Toolbox Side. Let's get working on the holes. As you can see that we got horizontal dimensions, vertical dimensions, and a diameter dimension of 0.20. There's 4 holes in total, and we have to create those. So let's do that and constrain those and work with them. Now let's go manipulate our view in the heads up toolbar again. Here, as we come down, we know that the top view, the left view, the front view, the right view, the back view, and the bottom view. And we also have learned that we have isometric, dimetric, and trimetric areas. One other place I'm going to take you now is to use this button right here. This button will turn on your view selector. How cool is this? A cube that gives us all areas. So if I come down here and choose this, I will be looking at probably the front view. You can see down here in the bottom of the left screen, it's front. If I go again and I click on the view orientation, that box will appear now because we have it active here. If I want to look at it from the right side, that's where I'll see it. That is kind of neat. I really enjoy looking at that. As soon as I touch it, it comes up and I can look at the top view. Hit it again, and now we're using this completely. One quick little information, as if we hit the F key, if I roll away, and I hit the F key, it fits. Now the space bar activates that too as well. It activates your orientation of view anytime you want. Hit the space bar, and it's there. And the reason that cube is coming up is because we have it active. As soon as I turn it off and I hit this, I just get the basic views that I want to see. As you can see that. So just to show you that more information of how to manipulate views. Now let's start our drawing. Again, we can choose what we want to do. We know those holes are going to be used to cut through the part. So if I choose, rather than just a plain sketch, I can actually choose the feature I want to do. I want to cut, extruded cut. So as I choose this, that is active. It's asking me a plane. I'm just going to choose the front surface here. My sketch is already active. I'm going to create my first circle, and I'm going to come over here and create one circle. Okay, and that's how simple that is. We'll add another circle. Very simple. Hold my right button mouse, move upwards to go to dimensioning. Give it a dimension of 0.2 of an inch. Now, I'm going to right button mouse click and go to my select. I want to get out of dimension, and I want this circle and this circle to be what? Well, I want them to be equal, and I can immediately go up to this dialog box and make them equal, meaning one dimension drives them both. There they are. They're both the same size. So this dimension, if I double click on it and change it to 0.5, controls their diameter, which will make it easier. Okay, now we got to position it. And looking at the drawing, the horizontal dimension from the edge to the center of the circle is 0.375. So I'll right button mouse click, move myself up, grab the edge, the circle, and position my dimension. And I'll put in 0.375. Now notice what happened there. Only one of the circles moved to it. They're not constrained to be locked into each other. We're going to zoom in on here, and we'll just grab the point and the point. So we got the 2 points, and we want to make those vertical. So now this one dimension, 0.5, will drive it from the edge, and we'll change that back to 0.375. So that is very important. And you can tell if they're constrained with each other. So if I'm able to separate these, well, that's not constraint, is it? If I pull it down, they separate too from each other. So we have to figure a way that they're locked in, and sometimes it's just by adding more dimensions. Let's add more dimensions. I right button mouse click in space, and I can hit smart dimensions too as well. I'll do a dimension from this circle to this circle, and looking at the drawing, it tells me it's 0.625. Now they're locked into each other. Now the last one is I need to lock it somewhere where it's fixed. So it will finish up. It'll be from the edge to the center of the circle. And this one, I'll pull this one out just a little bit further and above. This one here is going to be 0.375. And what color is this now? It is, let's make it fit the screen. It is now the color that we're looking for. I'm going to position all my dimensions black. So it's totally constrained into what it has. That was pretty simple. Now, before we learned how to mirror a feature, which was the hole on the handle, now let's mirror 2D geometry. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to create a line, a center line, and I'm going to come up to this origin here, bring it straight down, make sure it's vertical or lock it into this midpoint here. Okay, I will apply that, and now I want to do a mirroring of entities. And I'm going to choose, oops, I had the line. We'll delete the line. We're going to mirror about that line. But the entities we want to do is this circle and hold down control in this circle. As you can see, they're moved over there and I'll hit check. Now, the neat thing, if I change this to 0.5 again, they are tied together based off these one dimensions. And change those back. Very little dimensions are controlling my part, and it's very simple to understand. Once I'm done with there, we did choose cut feature first. When I exit this, it automatically goes into the cut extrude. I want to cut through all. And so the direction that we're choosing, there's many difference. We're not going to go over those now, but we're going to go through all and make sure it goes through. As you can see, it gives us the preview. And I'll hit check. And now we have our holes that are driven by a few amount of dimensions. Wonderful job. This was good. We should save it. And I'll save this, update it, and we'll continue on to the next part.